Peace. What's the word? What's happening, everybody? Give everybody a chance to tap in with the kid before we dive into this subject matter for the day. Hopefully, y'all having a powerful Tuesday. Give y'all about 3 to 5 minutes to tap in before I start diving into this subject matter, man. Hopefully, y'all got about an hour or so. Kind of pressed for time, but I still got a little hour to chop it up and build. So that's what I'm gonna do. So how y'all living and feeling on this wonderful Tuesday? What's the word? Let me know how y'all holding up. Before we dive in, y'all see the subject matter, man. Y'all see what's going on. Y'all see what we talking about. We got to build. Hey, I know y'all got some valuable input when it comes to this subject matter, and y'all already know how I tend to go in when it comes to this particular subject matter, man. It is what it is. So go ahead and tap in with the kid, man, and we can start this build, man. But let me know how we living and feeling before we dive in. Let me share some links and all that good stuff. Hold up. I ain't even finna mess with that. Magic Peace, what's happening? What's the word? How we living and feeling on this wonderful Tuesday? Y'all see the title. Y'all see what we about to be on for a little hour or so. We talking about the phasing out of heterosexuality. They striving to make us the minority. We might already be in that field. For real, we might already be the minority. Shahid, peace, what's happening? Terenzo, peace, my good brother. Clocks in, peace, what's happening? Hey, let's get it. Magic, man, everything is smooth, man. Everything is smooth. We all good. We just applying that pressure to the agendas out here. Applying that pressure. That's what we doing. Applying all pressure to all agendas directed towards black men and black women. We applying all the pressure toward the agendas. Infinite Charms, what's happening? Peace. Tony, peace, what's happening? What's the word? We applying pressure. Ray, what's happening? All the agendas out here. I know y'all seen Wayne Brady came out and said he was pansexual. You hear what I'm saying? Pansexual. That's what we on now. Wayne, first of all, Wayne Brady coming out and saying that should come as no surprise to anybody. Shouldn't happen at all. Airview, what's happening? So Wayne Brady coming out saying he's pansexual should come as no surprise. I mean, we all can see through that. We saw that coming. Dale, peace, what's happening, my good brother? So you may be wondering, what is a pansexual? You may already know, but we already know what pan means. We got Pan-Africanism. That means all. So that means you are sexually or romantically attracted to people regardless of their sex or gender. Sylvetta, peace, what's happening? That is what a pansexual is. So you are sexually or romantically attracted to people regardless of their sex and gender or gender. That's what a pansexual is. These are the terms that they about to start pushing on us to phase out heterosexuality. That's what's about to happen. That's what's about to happen. LG, you say that was an old article. Hey, definitely could be old for sure. But again, that don't surprise me though, even still. That don't surprise me at all. Old, new, whatever. The fact that it has made it to the public surface means they are trying to push that concept. And a lot of times when they're trying to push a concept and they make things public, they use entertainers, they use celebrity figures. So we know how that goes. So if it's old, new, whatever the case may be, it then made some headlines, some recent headlines. And they do that for a reason. They trying to push these concepts. They keep adding to the alphabet community. I feel like every year they have a different letter that means something in that community. So again, they striving to phase out heterosexuality. They trying to make us feel guilty out here. For you being a man and you just setting your eyes on women. They gonna try to make you feel guilty. This is what's coming here, man. Keep your eyes on what's really happening. Keep your eyes on what they are doing. Moni, peace, what's happening? Sylvetta, that's exactly what I said. When somebody asked me, what is a pansexual? I said, basically a bisexual. See, back in the day, they didn't have all of these alphabets, so they labeled a person bisexual. because they didn't have all these other alphabets for people to gravitate towards. So I say it's really just the same thing. The reason why they got to say pan now is because they got a million other different letters that mean other things. You know, so the community has expanded. So back then it was bisexual because that's all we had to deal with for the most part. You know, now we got all these added letters to the situation. So now they got to say pansexual. Edward Peace, what's happening? So that's what they on. And again, mind you, do what y'all do. Do what y'all do. This is what happens, right? A lot of the heterosexual community, we get accused of being transphobic, homophobic, everything phobic. We get accused of that. But they don't really hear what we saying. Most of the time, our problem lies with them forcing it on us. That is the problem. Most of the heterosexual people that I know, we not about to disown family members because they pansexual, bisexual, homosexual, transsexual, whatever the case may be. We might keep a distance because we don't want to get caught up in nothing funny, but we're not about to disown you. The problem is when you try to force us to accept that lifestyle. And then your counter argument is that we are trying to force, or we been forcing heterosexuality on the world for a long time. We can't force what's natural. You cannot force something that is natural. So that argument never makes any sense. But you can force something that is unnatural on the people, especially the kids. And this is what they are doing. This is what they are doing. If you want to be pansexual, homosexual, whatever, live your life. But I shouldn't have, every time I look up, I got to see this type of stuff incorporated on every show. You can't go without seeing the rainbow. You can't go without seeing those type of acts on the movie, on the show, in the school system, man. They listen, the gay BCs, like they about to start teaching all of this type of stuff. This is what we mean by force. You dealing with children who have impressionable minds. If you don't think they can be influenced by all of this, then you have been sadly mistaken. This is why they are striving to incorporate this into the school systems. Oh, Edward, for sure. Hey, get in, man. We ain't even gonna get tapped into that. We already know. Clocks in. They already want to copy us. That's why when you have a lot of these homosexual what is one thing that a lot of those individuals, no matter what part of that, no matter what letter they choose to be, what is one thing that they like to strive to do or they aspire to do that they cannot do? They strive to have children. Like most of the homosexual, they want children. Trans, they want children. It's like, dude, you are making this decision to where you have eliminated yourself from naturally having kids, yet you still want something that you are not. Listen, come on now. Listen to what we're saying here. You opting for a lifestyle to where if you naturally live this lifestyle, you are not able to have it, but you still want them. And Big Phil, I was just going to say something about that. Adopting is out. These people now, they want to experience the pregnancy process. Like if you want to adopt, that's another thing. Cool. But now they literally want to experience the pregnancy process. That is what they are on now. So they don't want to adopt. They want one of the individuals to become pregnant so they can experience this process. That's what they want now. That's what they own. That's what they be on. They don't even want to adopt. I guess we can still say that's a semi-adoption for the person that wasn't carrying for the, if it's two women, for the one that ain't carrying the baby, that's semi-adoption because that's not your child. You know, so I guess we can say that. But that's what mothers are on now. And now don't get me started on two dudes that's coming. Y'all can't do that. Y'all gotta adopt a child. You know what I'm saying? Two, like, come on. You decide, like, listen how this sounds. Two men come together. Two men. Y'all come together, form a relationship, and y'all sit here and say y'all want children. Y'all can't naturally have the children unless a woman comes into the mix. Like, this is why that used to be considered a mental illness. You know, because that doesn't make, how does that make any sense, fam? How does that make any sense? All right, I understand that in order for a child to be conceived, man and woman needs to come together. Boom. But now I'm going to opt for a lifestyle that involves it's man and man, but yet I still want the child. And I still want the child. Like, that don't make any sense, man. That doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. It's a lot of things that don't make much sense in regards to the alphabet community. Doesn't make much sense. You know, you got legitimate women out here, heterosexual women. You got legitimate heterosexual women out here that can't conceive, have trouble conceiving. Like, leave the babies, like, leave that type of stuff for them. Like, they naturally, like, listen, they naturally are a part of a group to where they supposed to be able to conceive, and they not. Like, let them adopt, let them get the kids. Now y'all coming swooping in, taking the babies from them. You got how many? You got a lot of heterosexual women out here with infertility issues. So they out here striving to have the children and just can't. Man, don't be trying to swoop in and take the potential babies from them. Good, great. If they can't have the baby, they trying to do it the natural way and they can't do it. Let them get the. Come on, man. Come on. A big ball of confusion. And some of them know that that's what it is. Some of them know that's what it is. For real. Some of them know that's what it is. And then the part that I really cannot stand, again, all of it, you can see the confusion in all of it. Then you get the two women, I talk about this all the time. Then you get the two women come together. You get the two women come together. And you got one that they label what? They label one of them the stud. Who does the stud act like the most? I have never seen a stud act like an upstanding black dude. I have never seen a stud act like a decent black man. When I see the stud looks like how we used to look back in the day on the streets, pants sagging. The stud looks just like that. So y'all call yourselves mimicking or emulating the black man, yet y'all choose the worst representation, the worst image of the black man. Y'all choose the worst image of the black man. Maybe y'all can correct me, but every time I see a stud, this is how the stud is presenting themselves. The stud is not presenting themselves as what they call a nice guy, as the decent, upstanding dude. No, the stud is presenting themselves as the thug, you know what I'm saying, as they want to call us. I'm talking about the lowest of the low. That's what the stud want to be on. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but every time I see the stud, that's the type of time that the stud is on. I'm like, man, why you got to be acting like that, fam? Like, who done told, like, why are you acting like that? Now, I know the answer to that question, but it's like, I don't want to see that. Like, I really don't want to see that. And then some of these studs have the nerve to think they can still step to grown men. Like, you acting like one don't make you one. Sit down somewhere. You know, we done seen situations like that, man. I done seen all type of situations like that. Like, sit down somewhere, man, and you think you acting like that's disrespectful to me. I don't know about y'all. It's almost like when they said, when they out here tried to tell the women that they don't have the rights to womanhood and periods. I don't like when I see a stud trying to act like a dude, like trying to act like a black man. I don't like that. Please chill out with all of that, man. Because I feel like it's a mockery. I honestly do not like to see that. You know, if y'all gonna be gay in y'all own way, you ain't gotta act like a dude. Like, you don't have to act like a dude, because that don't make any sense. First of all, the reason why you are homosexual is because you supposed to like the same. You supposed to like women. So why are you going to turn gay to like a woman that acts like a dude? Might as well just go ahead and fool with the dude. That don't make any sense to me. It makes no sense. Just like on the other end, you a dude, two dudes come together, and one of the dudes acting like a chick. What is the point? Like, I don't like it, man. You making the mockery. I don't like that. I don't find it funny. I don't find it amusing. Like, you don't gotta act like that, fam. You over exaggerate. A lot of times when you see on both sides, they over exaggerate. When you see a homosexual dude acting like a woman, he over exaggerates. I'm talking about, man, they be switching harder with their walks than any woman I've ever known in my life. It's an over exaggeration, and it is annoying to see that. They over exaggerate. I see it on both sides. Like, they over exaggerate. They do way too much. They try to be way too extra with it. Way too extra with it. The 18th letter for sure. Way too extra with it. You know, and before I forget, I bring up this book every time this subject matter is talked about. One of the greatest book, whole book on it. Homosexuality and the Effeminization of African Males. Great book. Now, I got plenty of highlights in this book. You know, I can read a lot from this book, and it dropped jewels on you. You know what I'm saying? Straight out the gate, it tells you the European origin of homosexuality. Homosexuality began with European civilization. Indo-European peoples, out of which the Greeks evolved, they in turn passed it on to the Romans, who passed it on to their children, the Europeans. Homosexuality evolved out of the fundamental acyclic disrespect of women in Greece. This is the origin of it, man. You talking about dudes who had no regards for their women. This is the origin of homosexuality, man. Dudes who had no regards for their women, disrespected their women. We didn't do that. We never lived like that, fam. We never lived like that. That was never the norm. Never the norm. Never the norm. You know, we got whole books to show and prove this. You know, I could read all my highlights in this joint, man, and y'all would be amazed at the information that's in this particular book. Let me see if I can find some things. Let me see if I can find some things, man. I just want to highlight some things in this particular book, man. This is a beautiful book. Beautiful book. Let me see if I can find some things, man. Let me see. Give me a second. Like, look at that. Rome took Greece's homosexuality to a whole new level by turning what was common practice into an extensive network of laws and written social codes regulating and extending its practice into all levels and arenas of social behavior. Like, this is what Muggs is on. Yeah, I saw they buffered me. I saw that joint, man. I saw the video. I saw that. That mug buffered on me a little bit. And this is for a lot of people who talk about us enslaving each other. Here's some information for that. You know, in contrast, men and women taken as prisoners of war in traditional ancient African society were not incarcerated. They were incorporated into society in service to their captors until they earned their place as politically equal citizens with a greater choice of social roles. Prison was not an option because it was seen as a cruel and unnatural environment for human growth and development. That it took away individuals' humanity and sanity was understood. Traditionally, African society was so remarkably non-violent and crime-free that there was not even a West African word for jail. Come on now. What is inconceivable but true is the fact that the Mbongi administrative policy did not, as it does today, have any concept of prison. The word prison itself does not exist in Bantu languages. We showing the difference between the two cultures out here. I'm showing you where you came from, like your origins versus their origins, and how they trying to force their way of life on us, and how their way of life and how they did things was completely unnatural to our people. You know, we acting other than our own selves when we start incorporating their ways and actions into our life, into our culture. Like, let me see if I can find something that I would like to read on this particular joint. Oh yeah, tap in with this though. Tap in with this. Homosexual warriors. Submission within homosexual rites of passage also served to create strong standing armies of men who were as dedicated to each other on the battlefield as they were in the bed. Come on now. A deep personal and intimate loyalty to one's comrades in arms was assumed to make for better soldiers. Because a love for each other would make them fight harder to keep each other alive. Come on now, let me read that again, man. A deep personal and intimate loyalty to one's comrades in arms was assumed to make for better soldiers because a love for each other would make them fight harder to keep each other alive. The ideal male homosexual relationship glorified in Greek civilization involved one in which both partners were members of the same military organization. Theoretically, these male partners would fight even harder than other military men in a desire to protect their male lovers. Come on now. Social arrangements define the nature of interpersonal relationships within public service. No matter how you look at it, Greek soldiers were more married to each other than to their wives. Come on now. Spartan practices particularly reflect this fact. For even though young males and females married at 18, the young males spent virtually every waking and sleeping second in the company of other males in military camps. It was in the military that homosexuality thrived. During the first 12 years of married life, Greek males were as intensely involved in homosexual bedroom games as in combat and combat training. They spent many a night before battle trying to sexually satisfy each other, knowing that tomorrow either soldier and or lover might die. Come on, man. Like, come on, man. Like, man, I could read from this book all day, man. I could read from this book literally all day to show and prove to y'all the origin of that type of living. It don't have anything to do with your ancestors. Didn't have anything to do with your ancestors. So why are we adopting that way of life? Why you think they pushing it on us, man? Let's be real. Let's be real. Oh, and I got one for the feminists. Look at that. In understanding that culture molds and impacts males and females equally, and understanding the violent and highly competitive historical relationship between the sexes in European society, feminists are characteristically European. It is natural for hate to dominate Western power relationships. Womanism, being an African tradition, has an almost exclusive African membership. In fact, logically, a woman cannot be both feminist and womanist. For a womanist is one who seeks absolute equality with men. She is one who requires that there be mutual respect and equally shared power between men and women engaged in defending and building their community against those who would destroy it and them. She knows that white supremacy sees no sex or gender, as it sees no religion, political party, educational credential, income, occupation, or age in its racist assault on African people, except as a matter of expediency when dividing to conquer. So they letting you know what feminism is and what it's about. That's that white folks vibe. That's the white folks vibe. Jasmine, what's happening? Feminism. That's the white folks vibe. That's the white folks vibe. Best believe that. That's the white folks vibe. That was what they was on. And they had to be on that. Mind you, I ain't mad at the white women for coming up with that type of, because they men did not fool with them, disrespected them. So hey, I ain't mad at the white women for standing up against they men. But from a black perspective, African perspective, whatever term you want to use, we never treated our women like that. That was not part of our culture at all, to where we disrespected our women, where we about to marry at 18 and then go participate in homosexual activities. That wasn't a part of our culture. We always respected our women. We always understood our roles. We always respected one another. That was a major part of our culture. That was a major part. That was a major part of our culture. So it was no need for the sisters back then. It was no need for the sisters back then to be talking about they feminists, to be fighting for women's rights, because we didn't disrespect them. Everybody understood their role in society. Everybody understood the role of men, the role of women. So you didn't have women jumping up say, hey, we need to be feminists. We need to fight. We need to fight for the rights. We need to fight for our rights, this, that, and the third, because we tired of these men treating us this way. It wasn't a part of our culture. Everybody understood the assignment, as they say. Like straight up. Like, let's be real in the field, you know? Most of us understand, as the book just stated, when I'm fighting and I'm speaking for black people, on behalf of black people, I'm not just speaking and fighting on behalf of black men. So when we talk about the black struggle, we talking about a struggle that includes black men and black women. You know, so when we out here fighting for black folks, we fighting for black men and black women collectively. You know, so it's really no need for you to separate that and say, I'm a feminist. Because when we out here on the front lines, when we out here putting in this work, fighting on behalf of black people, we are fighting on behalf of black men and black women. Because at the end of the day, as it was stated in this book, this power structure that we fighting against doesn't care about you being a black man, when it's time for this thing to go down, as y'all saw on the riverboat, anybody can get it. That's how they gonna treat us. When it's time for war, the black men can get it, the black women can get it. Everybody can die. That's just how it's gonna be. And that's a fact. But shout out to everybody that's tapping in, man. Shout out to Thunder. Shout out to Thunder. Peace to everybody that's tapping in. I see people that mention Plato, Socrates. Man, I had to do a lot of, well, it wasn't a lot of studying, but I took some philosophy courses back when I was in college, man. So you already know, had to tap in with a lot of Plato and Socrates. And again, it's never taught where they got their information from, where they got the wisdom from. You know, that's never taught about for the most part, which that's disrespectful and that's disingenuous. Go ahead and tell where they got the information from. But yeah, you know, it's a war out here. They trying to phase it out. Give it a few more years, and when you say you a heterosexual, they about to look at you like you crazy. They about to be like, man, you ain't never tried to have relations with the same. No. No. Like, it's going to be a taboo for you to be a dude and you ain't never tried to do anything with a dude. Or for you to be a chick and you ain't never tried to have sexual relations with another woman. That's going to be a taboo. You going to be the minority. Everybody going to look at you like you crazy. What you mean you ain't never tried to do anything with another guy? I thought that was normal. Like, that's the way the world, it's probably already there, to be honest with you. And they keep creating these new terms, and these terms are going to cause heterosexual, it's going to phase it out. It's going to phase it out. Shaheed, exactly. Knowledge of self. And that's why I had to bring up this book. This book gives you a great knowledge of yourself and your history and your story. Our ancient, like, this is stuff, man. Listen, it's certain parts of Africa right now you go to, and if you say something about you being a homosexual, they may chop your head off, fam. Like this is real. And this is where they tell you humanity stems from. You know what I'm saying? So you go to certain portions of that continent, man, they will chop your head off. They will chop your head off, fam. Like, stop playing. But y'all, man, with that being said, man, I gotta tap out a little early, man. I gotta make a run that I didn't think I had to make. So I gotta tap out, man. I'm gonna have to pick up on this build a little later. But I appreciate y'all tapping in, man. I'm gonna probably pick back up on this build maybe tomorrow. But y'all be easy out here, man. I appreciate y'all. Had to cut this one short because I gotta make a quick run. Emergency. But it's all good, man. Y'all be easy. I appreciate y'all. Peace.